Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Ask Dr. Nick. My name is Dr. Nick Schmidlkoffer, and I work for the Neurologic Wellness Institute. And today's question is, how does vagus nerve activity during sleep improve memory consolidation? And this to me is a really important one because I think sleep is the number one thing that everyone can work on to improve their health and longevity, and just feeling better about themselves and getting through a normal workday. And so if we go back to maybe, early ages, and if we think about when memory consolidation is so important, it is from, year 0 to year 18, 20, 25, when we're first learning how to walk, to move, to know our way around, to know boundaries and rules from our parents, to then learning how to read and write, and to then learning in high school and college to then be able to do what we want to do in our daily life, right? And so sleep is super important during that time. But at the same time, as we age, sleep gets ever more important because we're getting rid of waste from our brain, so it doesn't develop and cause problems leading to neurodegeneration. But at the same time, if we want to have a good, long-lasting memory in our old ages, then we need to constantly learn new tricks, but also keep our stress down and be able to sleep well so that we can have this good memory consolidation. We can formulate new memories during sleep. And it all comes back to our autonomic nervous system and that vagus nerve. And so we're just going to do a quick one here today. We're going to look at this paper. It's called Autonomic Activity During Sleep Predicts Memory Consolidation in Humans. It's from 2016, and it's from a PNAS article, which is a very good journal. And so here it talks about in the abstract, increases in autonomic nervous system activity during waking, as measured by heart variability, has been correlated with memory improvement. And so then they wanted to look at how does this role of the autonomic nervous system in sleep-dependent memory consolidation, because this has not been examined. And so they primarily looked at heart rate variability. They looked at sleep, and they noticed that there are obviously multiple areas in the brain here that are associated with memory consolidation and the autonomic nervous system. And so that's like the brainstem, memory-related areas, including the amygdala, the hippocampus, the prefrontal cortex. And then they looked at how vagus nerve lesions can impair memory. Looked at how vagus activity has a possible influencing factor in plasticity during the waking period for memory consolidation. So this is all during the waking period. A higher resting heart rate variability is associated with better working memory, better sustained energy, better emotional attentional control. Okay, so this is all in their background, and I'll get to what their findings were here in a sec. But the significance of this is really important. So, autonomic nervous system plays a role in associative memory and consolidation during sleep. Compared to a quiet waking control condition, performance improvement was associated with a vaguely mediated your vagus nerve, that rest and digest nerve, as measured by a high frequency heart rate variability. High frequency heart rate variability means that there's more parasympathetic activity during rapid eye movement sleep. In particular, up to 73% of the proportion of improvement in associative memory could be accounted for by considering both traditionally reported sleep features, such as like minutes of sleep, the amount of sleep in different stages, and the high frequency heart rate variability. So here's a diagram kind of showing all the things that can help to control your autonomic nervous system. You have the medial prefrontal cortex, you have memory centers like the hippocampus and amygdala, you have the main autonomic centers of the hypothalamus, then that goes to the brainstem, and the brainstem is what controls the parasympathetic rest and digest vagus nerve, and the sympathetic control, which is more fight or flight. Let's just go right to a picture of a graph. And so this is of rats, but looking at a baseline from a quiet resting state versus after a nap, a full nap versus after a partial nap, you can see that there were changes in these proportion of correct responses at baseline. A brand new, this is in the morning, this is in the afternoon, brand new, again, novel stimuli in the afternoon was a little bit tougher, so it wasn't after sleep. But then if it was primed, so basically the rat knew what task it was doing, after a full nap and a partial nap, they improved. They improved in these correct responses. And then when repeated, they stayed at this improvement, and then therefore you saw that repeated effect by more repetition, more improvement. So let's just go right to the discussion. Here again, they showed that vaguely mediated autonomic nervous system activity during sleep is associated with consolidation of implicit and explicit information and is stage specific, meaning the stages of sleep. It needs to be more in that REM, rapid eye movement sleep. The combination of sleep features with the high frequency heart rate variability, or that rest and digest during REM sleep, accounted for up to 73% of the variance in associative memory enhancement. So basically, if they didn't have good high frequency heart variability during REM sleep, they may have a 73% less consolidation in associative memory, which is really, really cool and interesting. So, non-REM sleep. Okay. So again, they propose that during sleep, the central nervous system and the autonomic nervous system communicate bidirectionally from basically bottom up and top down, and that the neural dynamics of REM combine the increased parasympathetic activity to create an optimized internal environment for proper plasticity, for proper memory processing, especially associative memory processing. So again, this was a relatively quick article. I just think this is really cool because memory is so important. First of all, especially in the young, which is why infants sleep so much, babies sleep so much. We need more sleep when we are young and in school. And as we age, when we get to college, a lot of people stop sleeping. They want to just keep going out and doing things. But sleep is so important for memory consolidation, for improving our memory long term. And then, so therefore, as we age, we still need good, proper sleep. We need good lack of stress, autonomic, parasympathetic, rest and digest, or vagus nerve activity during sleep. It's super important, and I think everyone should prioritize sleep in their lives even more, and I love this topic, even more than diet and exercise. So please try to focus on sleep tonight, get your best sleep, and see if you feel better and more well rested and able to take on the day tomorrow. So again, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you have any suggestions for future topics, I would love to hear them. Thanks again, and stay healthy.